Welcome to this episode of Athletic Training Chat. In this episode, we are down at Mueller Sports Medicine talking with Andrea Wyttenbach. This is a kickoff to a collaboration we are doing with Mueller Sports Medicine to help promote athletic trainers within the athletic training field and really highlight, again, what the whole point of this podcast is athletic trainers and let them tell their story. Mueller's been a huge part of our journey so far, and mine personally. So this is our kickoff, kind of letting everybody know that we've got this coming down the frame working with Mueller. That being said, we talked to Andrea all about the background of Mueller, how it got started, why athletic trainers are important to them, and where they see that going in the future. We get into the nitty-gritty about why it's important for Mueller to correspond with athletic trainers, and we really get a great insight in this little short interview. Enjoy. Should be good. Ready? You ready?
I'm so ready.
Podcast debut?
Yes.
Exciting. All right. Well, welcome to this episode of Athletic Training Chat. We are down at Mueller Sports Medicine with Andrea Wyttenbach, which you are, I forget your title, but it's Institutional
Director of Institutional Sales.
There you go. And so we're down here talking about our collab with Mueller, and so we were going to kind of get the background of Mueller from Andrea. She's been with the company twice, but long-standing relationship with the Mueller family, and how dedicated they are to the athletic training profession and why all of this seems to make sense. So yeah, if you want to give any more of your background and kind of how you ended up where you are, and then we can just whatever you think pertains to the story.
To the mission at hand.
There you go.
Yes. So actually Mueller is based out of my hometown, which is awesome. Very cool. I have a lot of hometown pride in the area I live in and where I work. So that's neat. I've always been interested in the athletic training profession. I was actually anticipating going to be an athletic trainer when I first went to college, but I ended up being a sports management major because I kind of was drawn more to the business side. But just a little background on Mueller. So we've been in business for 50 years. Kurt Mueller is our owner and founder. He went to UW Madison, and he was supposed to be a pharmacist. Well, he was a pharmacist. He graduated from pharmacy school. He played basketball for the Badgers, and then he was going to ultimately take over his father's pharmacy in Prarie Du Sac. And he saw the need for sports medicine supplies for athletes, and so he started developing them out of the basement of his dad's drugstore. Did a lot of trial and error. Saw a lot of competitors out there that he knew he could make products just as good, if not better. So he started peddling his wares kind of out of the back of his vehicle on weeknights, talking to athletic trainers, talking to coaches, talking to ADs, and kind of getting his name out there in the Wisconsin area. And he came to a crossroads where he wasn't sure what to do because he saw this business that really could come to fruition. And he was supposed to take over the pharmacy, so he ultimately decided to start his own sports medicine company. And he really has done a great job, and the whole foundation of the company is built on athletic trainers. This is our wheelhouse. This is our cornerstone, just kind of learning what athletic trainers need, what they want, what products make them successful, makes us successful, and put out great products. So,
yeah, that's a pretty good summary of it all.
There it is.
I don't know, whatever questions you guys have. So it's multifaceted though, right? Because I've seen just in the different things going international with you guys. So yes, athletic trainers, that's a huge thing. Obviously with you, institutional, but just like everyday care for the general athlete too is also a big push.
Yep. So our foundation is, again, athletic trainers, dealing, with the professional athletes, dealing with the high school athletes, dealing with the weekend warriors. And then you also have the big mass merchandisers. So we're in there as well. We sell online. We have international arms. So a lot of the basis starts off with maybe you see a professional player wearing an elbow sleeve on an NFL game on a Sunday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
and then you say, wow, that product's pretty awesome. If it's able to be worn by a professional athlete, then I will buy that in the store too, because it actually has a lot of street cred, a lot of credibility, because these are worn by athletes at high levels. So that kind of just helps feed all the other markets we're in.
Makes sense. Yeah, I have a more of a keen eye now for spotting those things, especially the elbow sleeves for offensive linemen tend to only be from one place.
Yeah, it's impressive, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, we're a little small town in Wisconsin, and we've got a worldwide company that professional athletes choose to wear.
And that's the part, again, just talking to these guys was always fascinating to me, driving past Mueller for my entire life and really not even understanding that it was where it was until I think I came down several years ago to meet Gertrude and just kind of touch base, and it was like, I know exactly where I am. I've driven past this hundreds of times.
Yeah, it's interesting. Growing up, Kurt first started, it was called Mueller Chemical Company. And so I would drive by it, and it was green. Well, I wouldn't drive by it because I wasn't old enough. But I'd be with my parents, and I always knew they made quench gum. But that's all I knew they kind of did. And then when I got into, I did some just basic athletic training programs at UW La Crosse, and then I would see Mueller products there. And that's before I started working here. And I'm like, wow, that's out of my hometown. Like, that's awesome. So Kurt could have started this company anywhere, but he really has a community pride in where he came from and just the area he grew up in. So he wanted to start it here, which is just awesome. It's awesome for the local people and how he gives back and just how the people from the area, this is a big, community employer. So that's cool too.
Yeah, I think it was one of our tours down at a WIAC conference. You had mentioned that, people come to work here and they stay at work here. Like, you got long tenured people. It's not like a drop in for a couple years and out type of deal.
Yep, the Muellers are good. I mean, they get what it takes to be a great employer and listen to the employees, and the loyalty shows it.
So as far as sales, then what is your guys' biggest income, or what do you sell the most of here then?
It just depends on which market we're talking. In the athletic trainers, so the institutional world. So we don't sell direct to schools. We have distributors in between. We have a distributor layer, but that would be just 1.5-inch white tape.
Okay.
Our M tape is our biggest seller in that market. But then we're also in, some of the big mass merchandisers like Walmart and Walgreens, and that would be a one-size-fits-all need. Mm-hmm. So it kind of just depends on what market we're selling into.
Okay, so we've talked a little bit about your products. Athletic trainers, now we make their athletic training kits, tape, everything. But you guys also do stuff beyond that. You guys do some outreach stuff, some education stuff, correct?
Correct. We're starting to be better about, we have always been a great distributor, just a good manufacturer in getting the products out, but maybe we weren't the best at educating. So we're trying to do a lot more of that in just conjunction with working with athletic trainers and clinical programs, things like that. So we are able to work hand in hand what the need is and educate those as well. And it's why our products are great and what we bring to the table.
That was you already answered what I was going to ask, because I know what, and I've made this argument to staff members that I've worked with. I know why I like buying from you guys, and what I would consider what sets you guys apart from different places and other companies that shall not be named, type of a deal. What would you consider what sets Mueller apart? Just any quality wise or anything else that you guys have seen, or mission wise. It'll be on another podcast as it comes out, whenever it is. I know Richard kept coming back to engagement as the big word. So
yep. I mean, we value the AT community and really value their input, and I feel like a lot of times, especially as of late, we take that feedback and are able to make it into a product or incorporate it into our innovations. I mean, innovating is an important thing. We're trying to set ourselves apart with not only a lot of our products there's going to be the same crossover from one company or another.
Right.
But what we stand behind is the relationships too. And we want to put a product out there that is going to be quality, that we can put the Mueller name on, be proud of, and stand behind. And if something goes wrong with it, then we are going to stand behind to make it better or get you a new one or end up revising that product to make it awesome. But the big thing too is, like I said before, the relationships. We want to make sure we engage with the AT community and the schools and know that they're an important piece to making us successful.
I from what I've gathered from just AT community and myself, that's the biggest thing. I'm sure it is with any customer, being heard, what actually makes, and we were talking surveys, and we probably get a bunch of them, but I don't know if I've seen many other companies, unless I'm just not on their email list, which is totally fine. Send out like asking like directly for the feedback, not just to sit there and be like, oh, well, we're trying to sell you this thing, like actually trying to get it to then customize and tweak and
Correct.
edit, and actually seeing some of that stuff to come to fruition is pretty impressive.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the whole thing. We don't know everything, and that's why we want to work with the AT community closely. And to be speaking of the surveys, at least you're on the right survey list. So that's
Right,
good.
yeah. And that'll be one I will stop. I will hammer the survey out, and I will get it back just to make sure.
It's so awesome how engaged the AT community is and how much feedback they're willing to give us and work with us and, just help us be a better company and put out better products.
Mm-hmm.
When you see the results of that, I think it's huge. And not that I've got a specific example, but if a big car company sends it out and you're like, oh, this is what I think, and then nothing ever changes. It's just kind of like, okay, well, that was not worth my time.
No, and we're a small enough company that we can make these changes happen. I mean, put them into place. Sometimes with the big corporations,
Right.
it just gets lost. It's just one piece of their marketing they need to do some outreach. But yeah,
Solid.
What other questions do you guys have? I've been down here enough. I know the whole backstory.
I don't really know how you go.
All right. I guess I just have one for you personally. You said you've been here with Mueller for a long time, over 15 years, right?
23 years total.
23. All right. So I'm just get your perspective. How have you seen Mueller grow and develop over your time here?
So I've just seen a lot more. The incorporation of technology is huge. We, before we used to drive everywhere, talk to schools, things like that. So now that we just are able to reach so much of a bigger base with technology, with emails, with the surveys, things like that. And then incorporating technology into our products is key. I mean, one thing is forever, the knee sleeves were just, for example, just your basic neoprene, which is hot and uncomfortable, and incorporating some of the performance fabrics into our knee braces and ankle braces, things like that is important. So keeping on top of technology, that's the biggest thing. So making sure you've got an ear to the ground and kind of coming up with the next great thing. A lot of times, I like to take a page from Steve Jobs where you have to make something that people don't even know they want yet. And that's
Right.
what we need to do. Just use technology. We're incorporating a lot into that. Our kits, we've teamed up with a great partner in the fact that we've teamed up with Merit. So we're making some really high-end technical kits that is an important piece. So just making sure you stay on the cutting edge of technology is, I think, the key.
So then kind of jumping off that, where do you see Mueller going now? Like what's like the next big step?
That is the ultimate question, isn't it? We're always trying to come out with something that's just it. We just don't, a lot of it we have in the works that I can't share right now, but it's finding something that's so fantastic that everyone's going to want to have. And they're like, how did I not think of this? And two, how did I even do my job without this? So that's it.
I think in just conversations I've seen and heard and just stuff that's come out recently, just the kind of like the reinvention, almost going back to what you were talking about Kurt doing in the beginning, where it's like, well, people are making this, but could we make it better and still make it affordable?
Yes.
And even challenge them on that, like, the ankle braces. I like buying the original, the one, because it was a good ankle brace and they were affordable.
Right.
And probably more than some of the other ones. Well, then you guys go and totally revamp it and make it even better.
Correct.
And it's still affordable.
Yep.
And now it's easy. I remember we were helping get some feedback on them, and when we bought some other ones for the rest of the team, we had kids begging us not to make them switch to the older version because they like the new one so much they didn't want to get out of it.
And that's just it. It's hard to not get comfortable when you have a great product, but that was a perfect example. The one ankle brace, it was a great product, but we thought we could make it better. Without a lot of people saying, can you make this thing better? But we thought we could, and we stepped up to the challenge, and that's our tagline. The best just got better. So people, they didn't even realize that they needed something better, but once they had it, they're like, this is better. So, yeah, just cool things like that. But it helps a lot. Back in the day when I first started, we didn't have a lot of the relationships. We knew a lot of athletic trainers, but it wasn't as accessible as it is now to get the surveys, to get the feedback, things like that. So a lot of people here would be wearing ankle braces. Maybe that isn't the best functional test either, because we're not doing the things that the athletes would be doing at the college level in order to be able to truly test it. So
Right. That makes sense.
yeah, it's good to have kind of the full realm of from just the development to the R&D to have the feedback that backs that this is a brace that does what we say it's going to do.
That makes sense. You guys have any other questions?
Yeah, I don't think I do.
I don't think I have anything.
So, just as shameful self-promotion, athletic training chat. What are your thoughts on making this thing work together with Mueller and this upstart podcast?
Yeah, we're just excited for this partnership. I mean, this is just another way to reach the community that we feel is so important to making Mueller a great company, making great products and getting great feedback. So I think this is awesome. This is a great way for us to get some content and just to reach a bigger span.
Yeah, we thought it was, I mean, in all transparency, that this could hopefully happen sometime in the future if we could get the thing rolling, just to highlight people within the profession that, Malcolm, we've talked about trying to get into your, was it old high school athletic trainer or someone from your community, again, somebody that may never, and not want the spotlight, but still give them a chance to, voice what they've done and talk to some really cool people along the way.
Yeah,
and just see where it goes and give people just kind of a sounding board to promote the profession and what they do. And we've already made connections. We did with a industrial athletic trainer at Quad Graphics in Wisconsin, and all of a sudden I see a post about somebody looking for some industrial experience, and so I linked those two up. We're trying to make it a clinical site for our program, and just stuff that never would have thought would have made the mesh just like that off of one conversation. So
yeah, I mean, this is a great platform to give the athletic training world, so we're just happy to be part of it.
Well, we're happy to have you guys be a part of it, I have to say, especially because you get to come down and check out Mueller. If you're ever in the Madison area, we'll say you got to come and try and make a trip out to Mueller and check out the digs. They got it. They got a great setup.
Definitely need to make a field trip. It's worth it.
Yeah. And as we just got back from lunch, really good food in the Sauk City, Sauk Prairie area. So, anything else you wanted to cover before?
I don't think so. My inaugural podcast, I think, went well.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll link up some stuff and everything, and as we get this out, and make sure to subscribe and leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing too. That's always helpful, or so they say.
For sure.
So, all right. Thanks, Andrea.
Thank you.